So let's start with ATX, right? So we are here for ATX for the June 2025 attempt, right? So we are going to start. First, let me just map out how the question paper looks like, right? I hope you all know that the question paper or the paper is of 100 marks, right? Correct. ATX का paper is going to be 100 marks and 180 minutes probably, right? 3 hours का question paper, right? You have two sections of the paper, section A and section B, correct? Section A has one question of 50 marks. Section B has two questions of 25 each, right? This is how your paper is, ATX paper, right? Before we start, we need to understand how this paper will be panned out. Out of this 50 marks, 40 marks will be your what? Tell me. Questions. 10 marks will be professional marks. Out of this 25, 20 will be your technical marks, 5 will be your professional marks. Same thing here, 20 marks and 5 marks, right? So in this 40 also, the institute or the ACCA is very clear, 35 and 5 ka breakup. 5 will be ethics ka marks. A 5 marker question would cover ethics. Now explicitly they may say ethics or they may not say ethics, but ethics will be there, right? Ethics 100% will be there, right? So have a look. This is how your paper is panned out. Now no worries on the part that here it is not like AFM or like any other subject SBR or something where you have certain theory. Okay, there's no theory here ATX mein, right? You may have applicative theory in the sense that some tax planning measures you have to write, correct? But that it is not like you have to learn and go. Obviously with me in the picture you will just have to what? Tell me, understand it, and you will be able to write it in the exam, right? Generally this is how your section A and B of your ATX works out. There are also ways in which they tell you what will be asked in section A, what will be asked in section B, all that stuff, correct? But now the ACCA with overtime, no, they have given certain parts of your portion, right? Which I don't trust ACCA too much. Section A will come from here, section B will come from here, because now that distinction honestly has gone away, right? AFM still you know what is going to come. In ATX also there is a good thing that you know there are repeated questions and those similar kind of questions only come up in exam. So there is a chance a lot of you whenever someone gives the paper, right, most of it, right, works on as in it what repeated questions are asked and you can score very well. 60 plus 70 plus score in ATX is quite what possible, easily possible. It's not very difficult and you'll have a lot of problem kind of stuff, right? So now let me just start with the portion. ATX. First, you will have individual taxation. If you look at various books, correct, you will find that there are only two parts of the portion, एक individual taxation, एक corporate taxation. But I am dividing the portion into much smaller parts for understanding, correct? So individual taxation may also you have basics. Basics may all UK tax stuff that is there will come up. Like topics like if you remember, right? Computation of income, computation of what? Taxable income. Then you have what? Self-employment income. Then you had employment income. Remember all these topics. You had pensions. You had NICs. I am not saying this will not come for ATX, but what you need to know this, because without knowing this, you cannot do the advanced concepts of ATX. Pension हो गया, you have NICs, pensions, NICs. Then then you have chargeable gains also, your CG of individual. Then there are topics which are advanced topics. Individual में advanced topics could be your personal financial management. Personal financial management. First topic. Second is overseas aspects. Individual, if he's overseas, correct? How it will work? Of normal tax and CGT. Chargeable gain tax also. Now see, if you are out of UK and you sell something in UK or sell some asset in UK, CGT will arise? Yes. Or if you are in UK but sell some asset outside UK, that means you are in UK selling something in India. You are in India but selling an asset in UK. All these will be what? Overseas aspects that are there. Then there is something called a small part of family companies. And tax planning at the end. Tax planning of individual. Abhinav, what is this tax planning of individual? A bit of flavor was there in UK tax, but now I suppose most of you have given UK tax 3-4 attempts ago. बराबर है ना? Maybe in FA23 or something or FA22, right? There at that time, those type of questions were not asked too much. But let's say an individual, if he shows his income as a salaried person or as a businessman, there were two differences. Salary में the full income that you receive fully taxable, but when it comes to what self-employment, you get expenses against it. Correct. So receiving salary or receiving what sales, what to do, or maybe self-employment versus chargeable gain, something of that sort. Now here it will be individual. Should he work as an individual or should he work as a company? If he works as an individual, the computation will be different, right? And if he works as a company or a corporate, the what computation is completely different. So these two three things will be covered here. Then corporation tax, second part of your syllabus, most important part of your syllabus. Without this you cannot pass only. Without this, no chance of passing. So corporation tax has basic corporation tax, basic corporation tax. Then you have group consortia or group companies, implication of group companies. In most of the books, they use the word group consortia. Yani consortium. Consortium means what? A proper group of companies coming together and forming a consortium. Means what? They are forming a group together so that planning can be done. Group consortia. CG aspects of corporate and groups. सबसे important. One sure short question comes upon group company CG. 100%. Right? Losses of corporates and groups. And last but not the least is two things rather. एक CGT of companies. CGT I have written ऊपर ना CG aspects ठीक है. CG aspects written last. Overseas aspect. Companies. Then there is IHT and VAT. Your old friends from UK tax. IHT and VAT. First we'll write about IHT. Basics of IHT. Basics of IHT. IHT valuation is one important part. IHT valuations. Reliefs is important. Relief and death estate. Death estate was there, I think. Basic may you have these, if you remember, lifetime gifts from an individual. CLTs and PETs, something of that sort comes up in basics of IHT. Obviously, we'll quickly revise the basics of IHTs when we start IHT, right? Then you have IHT के overseas aspects. IHT overseas aspects. Then you have VAT. नहीं इसमें one thing left. Wait. Last D. Taxation of trust. Do you remember you used to gift something to trust or something? Right? Same thing. These. So we understood what to be done with what? The trust. Correct? When we gift something to the trust, right? We understood what is taxable in our hands, right? But now how taxation of trust will happen, that is also included in your portion, right? Then you have what? VAT. Let me write VAT here. VAT में तो एक बेसिक्स पार्ट है, करेक्ट? बेसिक्स प्लस न्यू ATX पोर्शन, थोड़ा सा देयर इज न्यू ATX portion that comes up in the basics, just a bit extension from your basic. I hope you remember how to do registration for VAT, how to do deregistration, pre-registration input VAT, all those things, right? Don't worry, we are going to do everything, right? VAT basics plus the new ATX portion, correct. B part, we want the overseas aspect, the administration and overseas aspect of VAT. Overseas aspect also, and also we will see group company VAT implications. Group company VAT implications, very important. So take a gauge into the portion, okay? The portion is very less, okay? So we will require more hours for completing the portion, right? I think I've covered most of the parts, right? If something left, right, would be probably miscellaneous chapters. Maybe here you could say administration part of all of individual and corporates. And probably one part is ethics. I told you 5 marks ethics comes up. So small portion, okay, very small. You need not worry about it. So this is the whole portion. Let me check anything remaining. I think I've tried to cover everything, right? CG implications we've written for individual corporation. You could also write C, right? Combination questions. This is not a chapter, but this is a combination question. Combination question means what, right? Now see, I'll tell you. Individual and corporations have combination question. CGT and IHT have combination question. IHT or corporation and VAT, corporation tax, group company of VAT, right? So group company of corporations, VAT ka group implications, both have what? So I cannot say, let's say we do corporation tax, we are finished with corporation tax. I cannot surely say that all corporation tax questions can be done, because there are certain group implications and company implication in that VAT part. But what we'll do is, maybe let's say there's a 50 marker question, okay, out of which 35 marks. Now you've understood, out of the 50 marks, kitna technical marks hoga? Tell me, how much is the technical marks? 35 marks is technical, 5 is ethics. So we'll do ethics ka alag se 1 or 2 days mein we'll write all notes of ethics. And ethics you will see repeated question being asked. So ethics mein you don't need not worry about anything at all, right? Repeated questions asked and repeated things asked, no tension at all, right? So when it comes to these 35 marks, in that 100%, right, you will have what? Let's say a question which is based on corporation tax, right, which has corporation tax, basic corporation tax implications, group implications, CG implications, right, losses implications, right, and overseas aspects as well, right? And also it may have some VAT implication. So generally, if you see questions, no, you will see that in the 35 marker, 2 to 5 marks VAT implication will be there if it is a corporation tax question, correct? Individual ka question very difficult to come into the first 50 marks, right? But it could be what an individual is working in a company, or an individual, should he work individually or should he work as a corporate? If he works as a corporate, badhiya, he will get what? Tax at a lower rate. Corporation ka now, while you were studying, correct with me, right? You must have had 19% flat rate of income tax for companies. Say bye bye to that. Gaya, finish, khatam, right? 19% rate is gone. है कि नहीं? So there is a new system of calculating what? Corporation tax, right? You remember something called as what? 18% and 6% capital allowances. याद है क्या? 18% for individual, company के लिए 18%, right? Now it has been replaced with 130% super deduction. वो आया भी और चला भी गया. 130% super deduction came also for 2 years or 1 year in between and went away also. Maybe you must have done 130% super deduction, 50% FY, something of that sort. Maybe most of you have not done that also. That came also and is abolished also, right? So consider yourself an oldie in UK tax, okay? जो आपने पढ़ा has gone out of fashion already, right? That is how it is. The whole portion is mapped this way, right? Now some basic instructions regarding the paper. One is you will have to have a notebook, calculator. Calculator most of the times now becomes defunct at a P level paper. Whoever has given even a single paper, right, will know that calculation usage or calculator usage is very minimum. Do you use calculator in your exam? Most of you have given the review that calculator, sir, we don't use, because once you are familiar with Excel working, right, calculator is what? Mere formality in the paper. No one uses calculator, right? Because you are going to write your answer in Excel and Word. Now, I would not deny the fact that there are 20 professional marks. So, one by one, let's talk about it. So, 35 marks I have talked. Ethics ka 5 marks we have talked. 10 and 10, 20 professional marks के लिए you have your professional skills that are there, right? Professional skepticism, confidentiality, all those things. Some or the other were in audit, SBL, SBR, you must have studied this. SBR में तो you have a 10 marker special question on ethics. If you have given a SBR, you would know. And easiest 10 marks to be scored in whole of ACCA is that ethics part. Because honestly, if you ask yourself, correct, that ethics में 10 to 15 marks, whatever it is, right? Same question is repeated again and again, right? So be aware, here also the same thing for ethics will happen. 10 marks professional, right? A lot of 4 or 5 things, right? एक तो analysis, correct? One is analysis part, how you analyze the situation that is given. Now here you will be expected to be what? A tax consultant, correct? Or maybe chief tax officer of the company or something of that sort. Chief tax officer ऐसा कोई होता नहीं है, but generally it is what? Accounts manager, tax manager of the company, right? Or you are what? Tax consultant of the company. So accordingly, whenever you want to score these remaining 20 marks, पहले नहीं था. When I gave my ATX paper, right? I gave my ATX paper उस time पे these 20 professional marks were not there. But now they have been introduced since I think September 2020 3 से हुआ है. 23 September 23 से you got these 10 plus 10 20 professional marks, right? And you will see that 20 professional marks can be easily scored, right? One or two formats you have to follow. It is given by the ACCA that in the first 50 marker they expect you to follow a format or something of that sort. We will also write certain formats. IST ka there is format, corporation tax ka there is format, individual ka computation ka format is there. So that formats you have to what? Now no option but to learn, but we'll do it so many times that you'll remember it. Okay? We'll draw the format in notes also and try to emulate that in Excel, right? I'll keep that format in Excel as well for you, right? Then coming to the section B, 25 marks, generally individual IST, VAT, advanced IST and chargeable gains वाला question come up or corporation का question comes up. Now I'm very tempted to tell you from where section A will come, from where section B will come, right? But the institute has not, or the ACC has not given a breakup of this. Correct? If you look at any exam kit or institute questions also, right, there is a mix of all the topics. But are there topics which are favorites? Yes. Right? Corporation tax is a very good what candidate for your section A type questions. Corporation tax. Corporation tax along with CGT. If you have seen, I have never written CGT as a different what in UK tax. I have written CGT as a different portion. याद है क्या? Here I have not written CGT as a different portion because CGT, no, ऐसा you cannot pick it up and compartmentalize into something different because individual का CGT is different, corporation का CGT is different, right? CGT implication with IHT is also one part. So in this combination questions, CGT with IHT, correct? So if you ask me, section A, ACCA ने जो भी दिया होगा, I am just giving my view on it, correct? Generally, corporation tax is section A favorite. Most of the times you will see this in section A. दिखना ही चाहिए, some or the other part. 5 aspects that are there, right? Section B के लिए, this is my recommendation. ACCA has not given. हाँ, नहीं तो you will say this will only come in section A. ऐसा नहीं है. Institute has given or ACCA has not given any clarity, right? And this is section B. But don't be surprised if you get some different things also. But while solving, we are going to solve all type of question. Maybe 25 marker, 20 marker, 25 marker or 50 marker. Everywhere there is section A as well as B questions. We are going to solve all type of questions. So don't worry on that front, right? Okay. Any doubt regarding the portion? The only thing that you require here is focus on the ATX part more. Wherever UK tax part is, revise that, we can go ahead. But when it comes to what? ATX part, right? Be very vigilant. Be very what? Tell me. Attentive. UK tax some or the other where from my notes you can manage. But when it comes to ATX, right? Part it, which is a new part, right? I will tell you in class which is the UK tax part. This is now ATX part I started. So please take care, okay? Correct? You can accordingly have a look at it, right? So in the class now you have after 1.5 hours at 3:30 you will get a break, 15 to max 20 minutes, okay? 3:30 to 3:50 let's say, and then 1 hour 10 minutes up to 5 p.m. correct? 15 minutes will give max 20 minutes, usse zyada there is no break. I hope there is no problem on that front. Tell me. Okay. Alvina, what do you say? Tell me. Okay with it? हिमांक है क्या और इज नॉट देयर?
यस सर.
है ना? लिख लिया सब कुछ?
यस सर.
चलो. So can we start basics? थोड़ा सा let's do the basics. हाँ, the full portion you will use pound as your currency, है ना? Which currency? थोड़ा सा it may be a bit difficult because if you come from AFM or SBR or any skill level paper, probably you have worked everything in dollars, right? To accept, the brain takes time to accept pounds, correct? ज़्यादा करेंसी की वैल्यू है, राइट? इंडियन रुपीस 100 रुपीज अराउंड, राइट? सो 10 pounds, 100 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 10,000 pounds. What is this? Tell me. 100,000 pounds, हाँ? 1 लाख पाउंड नहीं बोलने का. It is not 1 lakh pound. First time only telling you. 1 lakh is Indian what annotation, right? Then this is what? 1 million pounds. कितना? 1 million. Then how much? 10 million. No, I am telling you this because they will give you words and you have to add zeros. 1 million is 6 zeros. 10 million is 7 zeros. Right? 10 million pounds. Correct? Any problem here? Just have a look. Okay, can we go at that? Sure. So first we'll do very basics of individual taxation. There is a authority. You all know it, but just reiterating. HMRC. What is HMRC now? Tell me. Full form.
His Majesty Revenues and Customs.
We हर गई ना? Correct. So Archie died, Baba. So it was the queen. Now finally after 80 years, right? He has now become what? The major ruler, है ना? So his majesty is what? Tell me. Revenue and customs. This is how HMRC works out. Correct? HMRC. So HMRC is that authority that looks after what? All the taxation in UK. Right? That is how things work out in a UK system. So all the rules and all those things that are made. Now see, the act is passed in the parliament. Now before we start, for individual, right? Write down somewhere. Individual follows what? Tax year concept. Which concept? Tax year concept. What is the tax year concept all about? Tax year 24-25 is applicable to you. Tax year 24-25 is applicable for your exam in June 2025. That is the period which starts from 6/04/24 and goes up to 5/04/25. Correct? Have a look. Make sense? For corporations or for corporates, they follow financial year concept and FA24 is applicable to them. FA 2024 logically, right? That is Finance Act 2024 is applicable to them. What is Finance Act 2024? Which starts from 1/04/2024 and goes up to 31st March 2025. So whatever I say about an individual, okay, hear me out. Whatever I say about an individual, and when I say that this income is taxed for an individual, right, for tax year 24-25, that means, right, either that income is earned or accrued between the period 6/04/2024 and 5/04/2025. Logically, maybe taxation of previous years may come in. I am not saying no about that. Okay, I am not saying no. Correct. But logically, the rates, rules, right, allowances, all limits of tax which are applicable for you, for an individual, is for tax year 24-25, right? And for a corporation, the FY concept is applicable and FA24 is applicable. For individual, the tax year is 6/04/24 to 5/04/25. For corporations, it is 1/04/24 to 31/03/25. Are you okay with what? Tell me. The logical understanding of things. Tell me. Okay. Can we go ahead, everyone? So let's go ahead. So first heading you give for individual. See, I'm very tempted, okay, to start with corporation tax, because as I told you, section A, may you will see corporation tax 100% being there, right? But till the time I don't do individual, right, you will not get into the mood of UK taxation. If I directly start with corporation tax, right, life is a bit difficult. So I will do what? Start with individual taxation, go to corporation tax, go to IST and VAT at the end, and miscellaneous by the end, right? The combination questions would be nothing but various combination of questions. Now see, whenever we do a question, right, so whatever portion we are done with, right, we will try to do part of the questions, right? So don't get demotivated by the fact that sir only part is done, right? So once let's say I do certain corporation tax ka part, right, basic part is asked, let's say implication of group companies, on that there is a question. Out of the 50 marker or 25 marker, it's the 7 or 10 mark question. Then we do CGT implication, then 2 or 4 3 marks other question will open up. Then we do what? Overseas aspect, 5 marker question will open up. So accordingly you will have to see. I am not going to say that I will complete the full portion. At the end we will practice, we will keep on practicing questions from here and there, and we will try to make notes which cover all types of questions. So with these notes also, if you go to the exam in the morning during the exam, even if you look at the notes, right, you will be more than what, tell me, okay to do it via these notes, right? Should not be a very big problem. Okay, so with this individual ka computation, correct? So give heading individuals, UK tax revision, computation of income tax, right? Then we have property and investment income. All these are chapters from your what, UK tax. Third is probably allowances and charges. Bracket में you can write MA, CBTC, PA. MA, CBTC, PA. चले, tell me. Then we can do employment income plus NICs. Self-employment income plus capital allowances plus related NICs. What will happen here is in employment income there will be certain new topics that will come up, but we'll do up to employment income. Then I'll tell you now ATX has started. So accordingly, you can write now ATX portion has started. Self-employment may also there is certain new topics that have been introduced. So you will write ATX topic now, right? So heading may will write UK tax revision or what? Tell me ATX part, correct? Self-employment done, right? This is basic. इसके अलावा computation property and other small chapters में you can have pension. Here also you will have what? Tell me. Pension as well as your ATX as well as UK tax, right? ATX में pensions is extended a bit, right?
The partnership would come under self-employment.
हाँ, self employment में partnership we can do a small part, right? इधर लिख दे चाहिए तो partnerships also, no issues there, not a lot of difference there. So now can I do one thing? पहले हाँ, let's do complete this. आ जाओ. सबसे पहले we'll understand what is exemption, right? And what is deduction. Done this maybe before as well, right? Exemption means what? And deduction means what? Right? What is exemption and what is deduction? Exemption means what? Income is not taxed at all. Correct, no? When I say an income is exempt, means what? It is not taxed at all, right? But when a deduction is there, now for the best thing for exemption was understanding what your there is a concept called as what, occupational pension scheme, right? Pension is what, when a person does a pension contribution every year, right? So what happens, the pension contribution that is there, right? So if he does a contribution to occupational pension scheme, means what, a pension scheme that is established by whom, tell me, your employer, correct? So employer established pension contribution or pension scheme, correct, is something that we say is an exempt income. Means what, let's say there is an employer employee relationship, This is the employer. This is the employee, correct? Now let's say the salary is decided as 15,000 pounds, out of which employer says that for your own good, what is the pension? Tell me. During your working life, you do certain contribution to a scheme where the money grows over the years, right? And when basically you retire, right, you receive what? That as a salary. Now you see a lot of people who are working since 1960s or 70s, right, used to pay at that time. You have something called in India as provident fund. Same concept like pension. Even in India, certain states, right, call it pension fund as well, right? So you do what? During your whole life, every month you do what? Contribution to your pension fund, right? And when you retire, right, you get either a lump sum amount in pension or you get small parts of pensions, correct? That is how pension works out. So out of this 15,000, the employer says 14,000 I'll pay to you, correct? And 1,000 on your behalf I will put into the occupational pension scheme, OPS, right? 1,000 pounds. So when it comes to taxability in the hands of employee, correct, only 14,000 is taxed. 15,000 is not taxed because this 1,000 is a fully exempt income. You don't need to add it in your income at all. That is not taxed at all, correct? So when this 1,000 is deducted from his pocket or from his salary and what, given to the occupational pension, what, tell me, scheme, in that case what happens? Tell me. It is an exempt income. It will not be added into the computation of the individual, correct? Have a look. Make sense? Tell me. This is an exemption. Coming to deduction, same situation, right? Let's say you received 14,000, correct? And you said to your employer, boss, you out of your goodwill have given 1,000 pound to OPS, correct? I also want to contribute 1,000 there, so that my corpus fund during my what? Tell me. When I get retired, I want the corpus fund not to be 1,000 pound but to be 2,000 pound every month. So it's like, okay, that can be allowed as a deduction because you have received 14,000. From that you are giving 1,000, right? Right. So this 1,000 directly from employer or from employee's pocket will be paid to OPS, correct? This is how it is. Have a look. Make sense? Tell me. 1,000 from year to OPS. This will be then deducted from year and taxable salary will be 13,000 pound. This is deduction. इस साइड वाला exemption, correct? Make sense? Tell me. Perfect. Any problem here? So here you can write income is not taxed at all in the computation. Example, employer ER. Just a second. What happened, Baba? Just a second. Mhm. So left side may have written what? Tell me. Income which is not taxed at all, right? Example, employer OPS. Right side write down deduction you have written. No? Income is taxed. Income is taxed. income is taxed, but due to contribution, income is taxed ER contribution to OPS, employer, but due to contribution or by law, deduction is provided. Example, employee contribution to OPS. Correct? Then you have allowance and charges. Income allowance, income charges, tax allowances, tax charges. Correct? So write down income, income allowance, right? Income charge. Now, what are income allowances and income charges? Income charges to normal taxation that happens, normally taxed income. Correct? But when it comes to income allowance, right? What does income allowance do? Tell me. Increase your income or reduce your income? Tell me. Income allowance means what?
Reduce.
So you have something called as total income, right? Some total income is given to you. From that, you deduct, if you remember, you deduct QIP, right? We are going to do the format now, right? And you get net income. From net income, what do you deduct? Generally, we deduct PA, right? That is what? Personal allowance. That is a income allowance. So from this, your PA is reduced. PA has certain limits. We are going to do that limits as well today, right? So income allowance is what? Tell me. Generally reduces income. It could be either as per law, example, personal allowance. Correct? देख लो एक बार whether you're okay. Then comes tax charge, income allowance, income charge, tax allowance, and tax charge. And write down tax. One is tax allowance and one is tax charge. right? Tax allowance means what? A particular that reduces your tax. Like you have something called as marriage allowance. So let's say you have a tax liability, correct, of 5,000, correct? And minus you do what? Tell me. Any tax allowance will reduce the tax. 1,000 ka tax allowance will reduce the tax, and your tax liability will now be how much? 4,000, right? One of the example of that tax allowance is nothing but your marriage allowance, particular that reduces tax liability. Same thing. Can you guess what is tax charge? Tell me. Example इधर लिखो. Marriage allowance. What is this? Tell me. Particular that reduces or increases tax liability. Tell me.
Increases.
This example. Child benefit tax charge. Child benefit tax charge. Hey, it will come. It reduces your tax liability, right? Now let's draw the format, right? Or first let's do calculation. पहले calculation करते, then we'll draw the format. ठीक है? फॉर्मेट में टैक्सेबल इनकम, हाँ, टैक्स अलाउंस या रिलीफ, ऐसा दोनों लिखो. अलाउंस और रिलीफ. टैक्स रिलीफ इज ऑल्सो देयर. कैन आई गो अहेड?
Yes.
लेट्स डू द टैक्स कैलकुलेशन. ठीक है, बेसिक टैक्स कैलकुलेशन, राइट? राइट डाउन इफ taxable income, right, of an individual, in bracket, right, non savings income or savings income, या सिर्फ नॉन सेविंग्स इनकम लिखो पहले. नॉन सेविंग्स इनकम. What is non-savings income? Give me 5 minutes. Okay. If taxable income of an individual, non-savings income, right, is between, or is ऐसा लिखो, between चलेगा, is between three parts: 0 to 37,700 pounds. Tax rate is equal to 20%. 37,701 to 125, 140. Major update. A lot of you must have done 150,000, correct? 125, 140. Tax rate is equal to 40%. More than 125, 140, or 125, 141 and above. 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 125, is equal to 45%. Okay. Very important, mark this as taxable income. Correct. Mhm. Now have a look here for the format. आ जाओ जरा. Do we have the format here? Have a look. Format, is it available here? Can we take this format from here? I'll give you these notes, so don't worry. Okay. So the first part of the format. Is it visible? Have a look. Trading income. Correct. Trading income is a non-savings income. Correct. Trading income, employment income, property income, pension income. Right. What is happening, right? Trading income, employment income, property income, pension income. Right. These are the four particulars of what? Non-savings income. Non-saving income means what? You are earning this income by what source? Tell me. By doing some active function. Active function means what? Self-employment may you're doing some business. Employment may you're going for some employment. Property income may you have brought some property and are actively renting it. You show it to people and all those stuff. This is for tax year 24/25. Right? Building society interest. Right? Bank interest are nothing but savings income. Right? Building society and bank interest. And last but not the least, dividend income. Right? Dividend income goes into the dividend income column. So you have three columns in the computation: non-savings, savings, dividend, and total. Correct? This brings to our first checkpoint. That is nothing but what? Tell me. Generally, I call this checkpoint 1, total income. This is called what? Checkpoint 1, total income. Right? Checkpoint 1, total income. Any problem up to here? Tell me. This is the start of the format. Still have not come to taxable income. Coming to taxable income, right? So then after that, second part of your what? From checkpoint 1 to checkpoint 2, you have something like this. Have a look. After total income, from total income, you deduct what? Tell me. Loss relief. We are going to see what loss relief is all about. Generally, loss relief are related to trading incomes. Are related to what? Trading incomes. Correct or not? Then qualifying interest payments. We have a note for this as well. So we can have a look at qualifying interest payments as well. QIPs. From checkpoint 1 of total income, we go to net income. Correct? Total income minus loss relief minus the QIPs gives you net income. From net income, checkpoint 2, you move to checkpoint 3. checkpoint 3, you move to what? Checkpoint 3. Now what will happen? At the ATX level, right? 2-3 things are added here, right? So what I'll do is, this from net income, you deduct your personal allowance, correct? And you get your taxable income. On this taxable income, you will calculate tax liability, correct? And from that, if there is any tax charge, what is tax charge? It will increase your tax. Then any tax allowance, it will reduce your tax, correct? Then you have something called as pay as you earn, PAY. Also one or two things that are added, right? In your what? Tell me. Working is your two things that are added: EIS and SEIS and VCT reliefs, certain reliefs and double taxation reliefs. I'll not what I'll add it here just, right? Here somewhere I have to add it, right? Reliefs, right? Two types of reliefs are there, right? I'll take that into detail. Reliefs will be deducted. Tax reliefs, correct, will be deducted from here. Okay, have a look. All the things are same. This is ATX part, right? Right now, that part will not be done, but you just need to know that in what? Tell me. Your part, these two things will be added. Are you okay with this? Have a look. Any problem? This is your what? So checkpoint 1, total income. Checkpoint 2, net income. Checkpoint 3, taxable income. Then destination is tax payable, right? The only change from UK tax to ATX would be from checkpoint 3 to checkpoint 4. Two reliefs are added, right? What are the two reliefs? How they are calculated? Later on we'll have a look at it. Right now understand these two reliefs will be added, right? Any problem, query, tension, doubt? Tell me. Can I go ahead? Now, एक काम करते हैं. Let's take a short break. Tell me. 20 minutes or 15 minutes? How many minutes you want? Tell me. 20 या 15? Almost 3:25, 3:45 तक आते. Tell me. Come back by 3:45. Stay in the meeting. Don't leave the meeting. Okay. quickly come back, guys. Back. Probably you've done the income calculations, tax calculations a lot of time in UK tax. Just revising it today. Okay. You remember something called as nil rate band? Tell me. Savings income nil rate band, dividend income nil rate band, and your what? Tell me. Your starting savings income starting rate band, all those things. We'll revise that. Then we'll also revise what we'll revise today. PA we can revise. Okay. Then we can revise what? PA ho gaya. CBTC and marriage allowance. All these things we'll try to do in the remaining hour 15 minutes, whatever it is. Okay. Make sense? Tell me. So have you written everything? Now in this, if I take up the UK tax notes that I have ready, copy paste karu, so will it work with you? Or do you want to write it again? PA, CBTC, all these things. Tax calculation. You want to, is it okay if I copy paste from there? You can have a look later on.
Yeah.
We can do questions. Okay.
Yes.
What is Rabia? What do you say?
Yes, sir.
Works? चलो भाई. Are you okay with the working here? Tell me this format. Okay with the format? Tell me. Right.
So can you go through that last part again?
This one
once?
from tax
Yeah.
liability.
Yeah.
So tax liability you calculate based on what? Now we are going to do first thing that only. How to
Yeah.
calculate tax liability on NSI, SI and DI, right?
Yeah.
From there you come down, any tax charge will increase your what? Tell me.
Tax liability. Okay.
Tax liability. Any tax relief, oh sorry, tax allowance or reliefs will reduce your tax liability. There are two reliefs that are added at ATX level, right? Right now, just I am saying that there are two reliefs. When the right time comes, we will look at both the reliefs. Okay. Then you have PAY system, pay as you earn system, where employer deducts what? Salary or deducts income tax from your salary, right? And pays to the income tax. If you remember, PAY, pay as you earn, correct? And then if you have any tax paid during the year, that will also be deducted. That is the tax credits that you have, right? Have a look. That gives you tax payable. That is the destination, right? Is it correct?
Okay, sir. Got it.
Right. Can I go ahead? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first thing we do is tax liability calculation. Now have a look. This you have written already. If taxable income of an individual non-savings income is between 0 to 37,700, tax rate is 20%. 37,701 to 125, 140, tax rate is 40%, right? And if it is more than 125, 140, it is what? 45%. So I'll only take, let's say there is taxable income. Example, taxable income, correct? Is equal to three options, right? Only NSI, right? Is equal to three option A, B, and C. 25,000, 120, or 75,000, right? And 154,000, correct? Quickly, can you calculate? Tell me. All are NSI. 25,000, what will be the tax? Tell me. Quickly tell me. Only NSI in my computation, and that is 25,000. How much is the tax?
5,000.
5,000. 25,000 into what? 20%. 75,000. How much is the tax? Tell me. On the first 37,700 at what rate? Tell me. First 37,700, what rate?
20%.
20%. So that will be how much? 7,540, no? Plus how much? On the remaining. Over and above the 37,700, correct? Whatever it is. That at 40%. So how much to be added?
14,920.
14,920. So total is how much?
22,460.
22,460 pounds. 154,000. How will you calculate tax? So I'll make three parts out of it. On the first 37,700, 20%. How much is that? I think 7,540. 37,700 into 20%. Next, how much will it be? Tell me. How much by how much? Tell me. 125, 140 minus 37,700 into 40%. How much is it? Tell me.
34,976.
And last, over and above the 125, 140. So 154,000 minus 125, 140 at 45%.
12,987.
Total tax is how much? Add all of them together.
55,503.
Correct? Any problem? Tell me. Can I go ahead? Then you have something like this for savings income. Add one word here. Huh? There, add 1 year. If total taxable income, add 1 year what? Total taxable income, not taxable income, but total taxable income. Okay. Now have a look. When I say what type of taxpayer are you? What I'm saying, what type of taxpayer are you? Right? Have a look. If I tell you that, boss, if your total taxable, that is NSI plus SI plus DI, falls between 0 to 37,700, what type of taxpayer are you? Tell me. What type of taxpayer?
Basic taxpayer.
Basic red band taxpayer, right? But if your total taxable income, that is NSI plus SI plus DI, falls between 37,701 to 125, 140, you are called what? Higher red band taxpayer. And if your NSI plus SI plus DI is more than 125, 140, you are called what? An additional red band taxpayer. Correct? Any problem here? Then coming to savings income. First understand what income is savings income, what are taxable savings income, what are exempt savings income. Correct? Have a look. Savings income. You probably have done this in UK tax. Correct? Have a look. Savings income, taxable, right? Bank interest, building society interest, interest from gilt-edged securities are what? Taxable savings income. Interest from quoted company loan stocks, that is what? Your loan notes on which you receive interest, correct? Gilt-edged securities are nothing but government-backed securities. That is whatever interest you receive from what? government secured or government backed securities. Correct. Exempt is what? Income from or interest from National Savings and Investment Certificate, NSIC. This is called as NSIC. What is this called? NSIC, National Savings and Investment Certificate. And last, premium bond winnings. It has been so many times asked in UK tax as well as ATX, right? Very easy to forget premium bond winnings or bond winnings, something of like that. If they say, right, the premium that you get on the bonds, right? The high premium bonds that are there, right, that you receive is exempt. Are you okay with this? Have a look. Interest on bond is taxable, but premium that you receive, right, which is also Tambola time system, right, where you get what? Winnings from the bonds, right? That is what completely exempt, right? Now coming to savings income, what is the, to have a look. If savings income falls within the total taxable income between 0 to 37,700, 20%. 37,701 to 125, 140, 40%. 125, 140 and above 45%. Sir, the rate is same, but it is subject to two things. Subject to two things. What are the two things? Have a look. Subject to a savings income nil rate band. Subject to what? A savings income nil rate band and a savings income starting rate band. Now, patiently hear me out. I'll give you time to write if you want to write. Okay. But first, hear me out. Okay. Now, let's say I have a savings income. Okay. And it falls, right? And it falls. See, first, you have to understand first NSI will be taxed, then SI will be taxed, then DI will be taxed. Correct. So, after NSI, savings income will be taxed. Correct. If your NSI plus SI plus DI, the full income, right, is added and you are a basic rate band taxpayer, then the first 1000 of savings income will be taxed at what rate? Tell me. 0%. That is the savings income nil rate band. Are you okay with it? But if your NSI plus SI plus DI, all three ka total income is more than 37,700 but less than 125, 140, then you are a higher rate band taxpayer, right? Then the first 500 is taxed at 0%. बराबर है क्या? If your NSI plus SI plus DI, all the three added together, correct, is more than 125, 140, correct, then you are a additional rate band taxpayer. If you are a basic rate band taxpayer, the first 1000 of savings income will be taxed at 0%. If you are a higher rate band taxpayer, it will be taxed at 500. First 500 will be taxed at 0%. If you are additional rate band taxpayer, no nil rate band available to you, correct. Then coming to the SI starting rate or starting rate band, keep starting rate band aside for some time, correct. So let's say I have a question for you. Okay. Let's say example, you could write heading savings income, refer notes for table, right? After this, write down example, taxable income, correct. NSI, SI, total, correct. NSI is let's say 25,000. SI is let's say 15,000. Total, how much is it? Tell me. Total taxable income, 25 NSI, 15 SI, 40, right? First tell me whether you are a basic rate band taxpayer, higher rate band taxpayer or additional rate band taxpayer. Tell me.
Higher rate.
Higher rate band.
Higher rate band taxpayer. So type, write down type of taxpayer is what? Higher rate band taxpayer. So tell me, go here. Tell me how much is the nil rate band available to you? Tell me. Savings income nil rate band?
500.
500.
500. So what will happen? In your taxation, first 25,000. So here generally I used to tell you to do what? Tell me. Your SI NRB is 500 pounds, correct? Your first 25,000 is NSI. NSI mein are there any nil rate band or anything? Yeah, NSI directly taxed. If it is within first 37,700, directly at 20%. But when it comes to the remaining savings income, abhi shanti se. First, what you have to do, draw checkpoint 1 year. 0 से लेके somewhere here 37,700 will come here, correct? In the savings income, the first 500 will be taxed at what rate? Tell me.
0.
0%, correct? Now आराम से, right? This remaining 14,500, out of this, how much falls before 37,700? How much falls after 37,700? Tell me. Tell me.
12,200 is before.
Yeah. Okay. And remaining how much? See, 12,200 plus 500 tax. How much is remaining here then?
2,300.
2,300. This will be taxed at what rate? Tell me. Savings income. Now go here again. Savings income that falls within the first 37,700 taxed at what rate? Tell me.
40%.
First 37,700.
20%.
This will be taxed at 20%. And this 2,300 will be taxed at what rate? Tell me.
40%.
40%. So calculation of tax, are you okay? Is it important where savings income falls, or is it important what type of taxpayer? That decides how much nil rate band will be available. Think about it. Tell me.
What type of taxpayer?
So where savings income falls or where the first 500 falls, irrespective of that, right? Now one thing has changed from last time, right? You must have heard what is dividend. Dividend income nil rate band कितना है? Tell me. As per you, how much it is? याद कितना है? 1,000 या 2,000?
2000.
2,000. 2,000. 2000 से लास्ट FY में it went to 1,000. अभी it has gone down to 500. ठीक है? So I'll just open the sheet. एक ही second. ACCA tax rates only, right? Have a look. ACCA का tax rate is on your screen. Have a look. $1,000 basic rate band taxpayer, higher rate band 500. Dividend nil rate band कितना है अभी? Tell me.
500.
500. But before that, what we have to do? Chal, let's go to starting rate band. Correct. Now, if SI falls in the first 5,000 pounds of taxable income, tax SI at what? 0%. But there is a catch here. What is the catch? Tell me. After this, over and above the starting rate band, right? Your nil rate band is also applicable. Correct. That means I have a note. देखो इधर, is there a note? देखो. Savings, preference of taxation is what? Have a look at the notes. Preference of taxation. First preference NSI, then SI, then DI. SI nil rate band depends on the type of taxpayer you are and not the SI or where the SI falls in the taxable income. Correct or not? We've taken the example. Savings income nil rate band is applicable over and above the savings income starting rate band. Sir, what do you want to say? Have a look. Write a question. Write an example. Write down example. Taxable income, NSI. This you can calculate and tell me how much is the tax tomorrow, probably homework, right? उसके बाद NSI, SI. I have not yet gone to DI, correct? NSI is let's say 2,000 and DI is let's say 52,000, correct? So how much is the total taxable income? Tell me. 54,000. बराबर है क्या? Have a look. Makes sense. Now what will happen? What does savings income starting rate band say? If any part of or any amount of savings income falls within the first 5,000, falls within the first 5,000, falls within what? First 5,000 of your total taxable income, right? Have a look at it again. If SI falls in the first 5,000 of taxable income, right? Or total taxable income, right? Then tax the SI part only at 0%. Matlab here, if you have a look in the first 5,000 that is there, you have first 2,000 of what? Tell me. First 2,000 is NSI. This 2,000 of NSI will be taxed at what rate? Can anyone tell me? NSI में any nil rate band or starting rate band is there? No. This will be taxed directly at 20%. Remaining 3,000, which is savings income, correct? Which is what? Savings income. Will be taxed at what rate? Tell me.
0%.
0%. Then after that you will ask yourself, what type of taxpayer are you? Tell me.
Higher rate
Higher
band.
rate band.
Higher rate band taxpayer. So how much is the savings income nil rate band available to you? Tell me.
500.
500. Correct. That means after this, the first 500 that is there will be taxed at what rate? Tell me. This is nothing but savings income nil rate band. Correct. Now out of the remaining, first drop a point at 37,700 somewhere here. This is 54,000. अभी आराम से first 5,000 and 500 is taxed. So how much is remaining year from year to year? And it is savings income only. And how much is remaining from? हाँ कितना है? Tell me.
32,200.
32,200. This will be taxed at what rate? Tell me.
20%.
20%. Correct. इसके ऊपर from 32 और this is 37,700 up to 54,000. How much will be taxed at?
16,300 at 40%.
At 40%. What do you say, Rabia? Albina? Himank? क्या बोलता है हिमांक? Make sense? कुछ ऐसे याद आ रहा है? The old memories of UK tax, are they coming back? Tell me. Drawing a timeline. Me irritating you with so many timelines. बराबर है? ऐसा ही है? Nothing has changed. Correct? Then coming to the part of what? Dividend income. Dividend income में what has happened? The rates have remained the same. Have a look at the rates. Maybe while you were doing, the rates were different. अभी the rates have changed. 7.5, 32 ऐसे कुछ rate थे क्या? When you did your UK tax. Now they have changed to how much? Have a look. 8.75, 33.75, right? Now see here, these two notes. ये देखो last two notes, have a look. ऐसा है starting rate band has no impact on type of taxpayer. Starting rate band का taxpayer से कुछ लेना देना है? No. The first 5,000 will always be taxed. The savings income that falls within the first 5,000 will always be what? Tell me. Taxed at 0%. Pasting in this in your what notes. Are you okay with this? Tell me. Okay क्या देख लो? Make sense? This you can read today. Then after that, dividend income, right? Come to dividend income. अभी देखो हाँ, what I am doing. If I am taking this from here, but I will change one thing. Have a look. The one thing that I will change is with a red pen. You would have done 2,000. Someone would have done 1,000. But now it is how much? 500 pounds. But now when it comes to dividend income, does dividend income say if you are basic rate band taxpayer then 2,000, if you are higher rate then 1,000, then if you are what? Additional rate band 5? No. Irrespective of type of taxpayer. Irrespective of type of taxpayer, what will happen? Tell me. Dividend income will be taxed. First 500 will be taxed at 0%. Right? And also, if dividend income falls within the first 37,700 of your income, it will be taxed at 8.75%. If it falls from 37,701 to 125,140, it will be taxed at 33.75%. If it is greater than 125,140, right, it will be taxed at 39.35%. Subject to dividend income nil rate band of 500 pounds at 0%. Right? Have a look. Does it make sense? Tell me. Dividend income will be taxed at the end and the rates are also different. Plus even that dividend income nil rate band has changed from last time 1,000 in FY23 or tax year 23-24 to 24-25. It has changed from what? 1,000 to 500. Make sense? Have a look. So write down dividend income, refer table from notes, right? Dividend income, refer table from notes, right? Example, write down example. NSI, SI, DI. 35,000, 15,000 and 45,000. These are all taxable incomes. So how much is the total taxable income? Tell me.
95,000.
95,000. Correct. So how do we do this? Calculate tax liability. You need my help? Need my help? Or you can do. Chalo, try it. So what will happen? NSI, first 35,000 at what rate? Tell me.
20%. No, yeah, 25%.
Savings income, will you have any nil rate band or no nil rate band available?
It's there.
There,
500.
how much?
500.
500. So 35,000. So what I'll do, 95,000 here. First flag. 37,700. Correct. Now from year to year at what rate? Tell me. This in this also, first 500 tax charge at a different rate. Correct.
So 1000 would be there now.
1000 change हो गया. Now your June 25 में has the portion changed for you? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So क्या होगा? Tell me. Has changed from what? क्या 1000 होगा? Are you saying savings income 1000 होगा या dividend income 1000 होगा?
सेविंग इनकम्स का 1000 नहीं होगा, बेसिक
सेविंग्स इनकम 1000 कैसे होगा? वो तो सेम है. पहले भी 1000 और 500 ही था, अभी भी 1500 है.
तो बेसिक रेट बैंड में तो 1000 होता है ना.
हाँ तो बट वापस नोट पढ़ो पहली वाली. व्हाट टाइप ऑफ टैक्स पेयर आर यू? टेल मी. 95,000 अगर तेरी टोटल टैक्सेबल इनकम है, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ टैक्स पेयर आर यू? टेल मी.
हायर.
हायर. बराबर है.
यस सर.
तो अगर हायर रेट बैंड टैक्स पेयर है, सेविंग्स इनकम वेयर इज इट फॉलिंग? इज दैट इंपॉर्टेंट और इज दैट नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट एट ऑल? टेल मी. नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट. करेक्ट है हिमांग?
यस सर.
फिर कितना बचता है रे इधर? छोटू सा ही है. हाउ मच इज दिस? 35,500 हो गया ना.
2,200.
2,200 at 20% again. Then from year 37 up to savings income कब तक जाएगा? Tell me. और I've done very big. एक मिनट रुक जाओ. यहाँ तक चलो ना. How much is this? आगे 45,000 में से 37,700 tax. How much remaining? See,
12,300.
see, हाँ 12,000 कैसे नहीं रे? सी 35, अरे 35 प्लस 15, 50,000 आएगा बराबर. 50 में से 37,700 टैक्स, तो 12,300 एट व्हाट रेट? टेल मी.
40%.
40%. बराबर है. Then dividend income, right? उसमें से first 500 taxed at what rate? Tell me. First 500, irrespective of what type of taxpayer you are. First 500 taxed at what rate? 0%. बचा हुआ 44,500 taxed at what rate? 40%.
33.75.
33 point how much? 75%. Himank, what do you say? Okay with it?
Yes, sir.
Easy? Difficult? Drawing timelines. Can I go ahead? Tell me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then let's go ahead. Now let's go to PA. Do you remember PA? Tell me. याद है PA कुछ धुंधला धुंधला? Tell me. 12,500 probably in your attempt. Correct है ना? PA.
So 12,570.
12,570.
12,570. Correct. 570 नहीं रे.
Yes, sir.
12,000. Yeah, 570. Correct. 12,570. Correct. But before understanding that, right, we need to understand somewhat like this table you would have drawn. Have a look. And PA, is it dependent on net income? Now see, first you have to see what the positioning of PA in your computation. क्या करेंगे? Have a look. Positioning of PA in your computation. Is it before checkpoint 1, before checkpoint 2, or before checkpoint 3? Tell me. Before 3. So between 2 and 3. So from net income, personal allowance is deducted. Is everyone okay? And you get what? Taxable income. Have a look. Make sense? Tell me. Any problem here? So net income minus personal allowance, get the taxable income. Make sense? Have a look. So how do we calculate personal allowance? Personal allowance is based on net income or is it based on ANI? Tell me. Have a look.
ANI.
What have I written? ANI. What is ANI? Have a look. What is ANI? ANI. ANI is what? Nothing but net income minus what? The GPPC and GGAD. Right? For understanding GPPC and GGAD, we need to understand two topics. What is pension, gross personal pension contribution, and gross gift aid donation. अभी के लिए let's consider. You know these two. What? Tell me. Things. So whatever is the ANI, if the ANI falls, right, or ANI is less than 100,000, then the full PA will be available to you. So from your what? Net income, you can deduct 12,570 fully, right? 12,570 fully you can deduct, no tension at all, right? But if it is more than 125 140, then no PA is available. But if it is between 100,000 and 125 140, then PA reduction will happen. PA reduction will happen how? The PA available 12,570 minus the ANI, correct? ANI minus 100,000 by 2, or ANI minus 100,000 into 50%. This is called as the reduced PA that will be available to you, correct? If GPPC and GGAD is not given to you, right? In that case, net income will be equal to ANI. Okay, can I have a look, right? So first, let's do one or two calculations of what? Tell me. PA. Then understand what is GPPC, GGAD, right? That is gross personal pension contribution and gross gift aid donation, right? So write down PA table, refer notes, correct? PA table, refer notes. I'll come to GPPC and GGAD, don't worry. Okay. Example, net income. Total कितना है? Tell me. How much is total net income?
46,000.
Correct. I am directly giving you GPPC and GGAD amount. बराबर है? और wait, एक मिनट, 190,000 कर दो. How much will it be now? Tell me. कितना? 246 हो जाएगा ना, करेक्ट? बराबर ना?
227.
227. 227,000, right? 227,000. Okay, write down GPPC is 50,000. GGAD is 60,000, correct? I have not yet taught what is GPPC, or not you told you what is GPPC, but have I told you ANI, right? So calculate tax, correct? So how do you do it? Net income. देखो 227,000 net income है, so is the PA 0?
No.
Is it based on net income at all? No.
No.
You have to draw a different working note, correct? So on the side I am drawing a working note of PA calculation. First, how much is ANI? ANI is equal to what? Net income minus GPPC minus GGAD, correct? So ANI is equal to how much? 227,000 minus क्या क्या करूँ? Tell me. 50,000 minus 60,000. How much is remaining then?
117,000.
Now go to this table. Is it on the left side of the table, right or middle? Tell me. ANI is how much?
Sir, in middle.
Middle. So reduction of PA will happen. So write down PA available is how much? Tell me. 12,570. So how will you do it? ANI minus 100,000. That means 117,000 minus 100,000 divided by 2 will be the reduction. How much will be the reduction? Tell me. 117 minus 100,000 divided by 2.
8,500.
8,500 is reduced. How much is the PA that is available to you?
4070.
4070. So from this net income, PA will be deducted 4070 dash dash total 4070. How much is the taxable income then? One 85 930. बराबर 18,000 19,000 222 930. बराबर है? Just check once. Make sense? चलो on this tax calculation homework, will you be able to do tax liability? Now in pension contribution, right, there is personal pension contribution. What is that? Two types of pension contribution are there. What are the two types of pension contribution? Occupational pension, right? It is for between employer and employee, correct? An employee trying to what? Cover his what? After what? Tell me. Your retirement money. That is nothing but your pension. So two types of pensions are there. What are the two types of pension? Occupational pension and personal pension, right? So occupational pension is what? Basically which is established by employer, right? Have a look. What is an occupational pension and what are the tax implication of it? Occupational pension scheme, OPS. OPS is what? The fund or scheme is set up by employer for employee, and what? It is a very popular pension scheme, correct? So your employer contribution to OPS, right, in the hands of employee, it is what? Exempted, right? We studied this right now also. Employee contribution to OPS in the hands of employee, it is what? Deducted, right? Now, let's say the employee says, or any person who's working says that boss, I want to establish a pension fund myself. My employer, whoever it is, right? I'm a self-employed person. I don't have an employer and I want to set up a pension scheme. In that case, can he set up a personal pension? He himself can set up a pension scheme, correct or not? How do we set up a personal pension or personal? What are the tax implication of a personal pension scheme? Correct. This will help you in tax calculation, correct? So in personal pension scheme, there are two or three implications that are there. What are the two or three implications? The fund or scheme is set up by an individual, can be an employed, self-employed or any individual, right? the tax implication and the ANI implication. Tax implication क्या है? Tell me. Tax implication is grossing up concept, right? So what? See, before, right? Logically, why this personal pension contribution came up? Now see, as an individual, let's say you receive any amount of income, correct? May it be from your business, correct? May it be from your employer, or may it be from any savings income or any dividend income. You received this income, correct? And you want to say that, boss, right? I feel that after my retirement, I should get some money, correct? So he goes to the bank and says that, first, I want to set up a pension scheme. Bank is like, we have that option. Every bank has that option. You go in any bank and say, at least a nationalized bank, they will have a pension scheme available for you, correct? You yourself can open a pension scheme. A very famous pension scheme India mein is the Indian Post, correct? Indian Post ka pension scheme is a very good scheme, correct? The percentage and all the return is very lucrative. So you can have a look once if you have time. Sometimes go to the what, and you can also start your own pension scheme. Even if you pay 500, 1000 rupees to that pension scheme from now, right? It will become 10 times, 20 times when you what, retire, right? It has a very good rate and gives a very good return, correct? So now what you do, you yourself from your pocket, right, do a pension contribution. That is called as a personal pension contribution. That is not some employer or occupational pension. It is a personal pension scheme. Now what used to happen before, right? Now let's say you earn 50,000 pounds in what, tell me, legally or in what, bank account. Thoda sa let's go a bit into tax planning, correct? And you used to earn 50,000 in cash. For a minute, let's consider this. For a minute, GPPC and all provisions were not there, correct? No provisions were there. What you decided? Sir, this 50,000 cash, no, correct? I will use for my yearly expenses. Usme I will be able to complete the yearly expenses. This 50,000 that I receive, no, I'll put in the pension scheme because the pension gives very good return, correct? So what used to happen? The person will tax under NSI 50,000, correct? And the old system said that if you do any pension contribution, occupational, personal, bhul jao, right? Forget that for a minute. You do any pension contribution, may it be occupational or personal, correct? Fully 50,000 deductible. Income कितना है? Tell me. Total income? Zero. Tax planning. So you take money in cash, right? 100,000 you earned. You did. See, but you did what? 50,000 you took in cash, 50,000 in bank account. पूरा बैंक अकाउंट का पैसा फुल इन पेंशन. So pension was a deductible expense first, correct? What used to happen because of that? No tax, mojja hi mojja, correct or not? No tax at all, right? But then because it is a personal pension mein you can go anytime, what, deposit the money, take out the money when you need it, right? So it became a what, tax saving, what, planning ka source, correct? Hence what they did or what they started doing is what, tell me, directly full income zero. So the law came up with what, tell me, or what used to happen, better, if let's say this was 150,000, right, bank account, right, and you did, now see, 150,000 means, are you into the highest 45% bracket, tell me? So what that person used to do, देखो 150,000 है ना, correct? So what I will do, 25,000 I will do pension ka contribution, right? So what happens? You save tax on this 25,000 at what rate? Tell me. Almost 125,000 ke upar you save at what? 45%. So it was saved, tax was saved at the highest rate or tax was completely saved. So they had to come up with what? A GPPC provision. So GPPC provision is what? ऐसा deduction not available. No deduction available of what? Your personal pension contribution. Deduction bolo hi mat. It will not be a deduction. Neither it will be an exemption. They found out a third method of taxing what? Or getting or giving the deduction of GPPC. What was it? They said, Suno, you pay 80 pounds, we pay 20 pounds. 20 pounds saved here, Tell me yes or no. So 100 पे 20% saved, correct? And whatever amount, so you paid 80, we paid 20. So total 100 is contributed to your what? Tell me. GPPC, right? Deduction मत लो, but the bands that are there 0 to 37,700, 0 to what? 37,700, 37,701 to 125, 140, or more than 125, 140 will increase by the amount of what? Tell me. Your GPPC done, right? So first, if there is a PPC or personal pension contribution paid, made or done, paid, made, done, divide by 80 into 100. That means $80 you give, $20 saved here. Plus, if you do extension of bands, correct? Eventually, the extension of bands will also make you save 25%. Highest pay, you will save tax. So they said that it is a two-way rule, right? You will save 20% from your pocket, you have to pay 20% less, and 20% extension of bands will happen. 25%. So they said 45% only are saving. 20% in payment, 25% in what? Tell me. Your payment. Tension ही नहीं. Correct or not? That is how they change the law of GPPC. Correct? That is how. And the ANI implication is what? Deduct from adjusted net income. So quickly, if my employer deducts money, right, for pension, and on my behalf or as a contribution from himself pays to the pension scheme, it is an OPS. It is what? OPS. But it is an employer contribution to OPS, fully exempt. Then it is employee contribution to OPS, right? Where you say, sir, you did 1000, I also do 1000. So is that a deduction or an exemption? Tell me.
Deduction.
Deduction. Correct? So it will be a deduction. But when it comes to GPPC, can employer do GPPC? Generally no. Correct? So you yourself set up a personal pension contribution, correct? And you start contributing what? To that personal pension scheme. Will it be allowed as a deduction? No. It will say that how much ever you pay, divide that by 80 into 20 we will pay, right? So your total contribution, if you do 80 pounds, we will give 20 pounds, right? So that is how it is, right? If you give 64 pounds, right, we will give 16 pounds. That is how it is. 64 by what? 8 into 2, correct? That is how it will be. So 2 will be given by the HMRC. So you pay only 80, we will pay 20, and full 100 ka extension of bands also we will give you. And the third implication is ANI implication, that it will be deducted from adjusted net income, or deducted from net income to arrive at what? Adjusted net income. So OPC, right? OPC registered or set up by the employer for the employees, correct? PPC set up by a person for himself, could be an employed, self-employed, or any kind of individual. He can do it for himself, right? Obviously, there is a full chapter on pensions that will come up, correct? So I hope this is okay with you. Tell me, any problem? GPPC or OPC, correct? Now, next part, GGAD. What is GGAD? Any idea what is GGAD? Or gift aid donation? Gross gifted donation. Same type of thing, no? Happened with gross gifted donation. Now, I'll tell you what tax planning happened. After this, I'll leave you. Okay? No. What tax planning happened? What I used to do now? I used to go for some, I used to do some business. Okay? One of my brothers set up a what? Charitable organization. Correct? So how does that work out? See, this is Mr. A. Correct? Mr. A used to earn, let's say, 150,000 pounds. Correct? And this is Mr. B. Mr. B has a charitable organization. Now, what was the law before, right? That any amount that you donate to a charitable organization, right, was called as a gift aid that you give to a charitable donation, or a gift aid donation, right? Would be fully deductible expense. Old law. Old law में क्या था? It will be fully deductible. So what I used to do, Mr. B is my brother. I would tell him, see boss, I'll give you 50,000 pounds, correct? I'll get a deduction, correct? You, right? For you, what is happening? 50,000 pound is received. It is your income. But for a charitable organization, generally there is no tax. Correct? So what you do, this 50,000 income you show and show that you have applied this for some donation, right? Or for some charitable purpose, right? And charitable purpose is nothing but in my office, right? I want to do a big party, correct? You come and organize the party and pay 50,000 saying that it is charitable purpose, correct? हो गया काम? Tell me. You saved your 50,000 here, 100,000, correct? And indirectly use this, or you give out cash to me of what, this 50,000. Any whichever way, you don't have to pay tax. So is it tax planning? Here you save tax on the 50,000 at 45 and 40% respectively, right? So that was gift aid donation given. All these tax planning used to happen. So law said deduction bhi nahi, exemption bhi nahi. What we will do? Tell me. Have a look. GGAD. What we will do? Same thing. Tax implication. You pay 80 pounds, we pay 20 pounds. ऐसा करके net और net gross net gifted donation or GAD paid made done, right? Divided by 18 to 100 will give you GGAD. That GGAD can be used to extend the bands, correct? And the ANI implication is deduct from net income to arrive to adjusted net income. Gifted donation is what? Donation or charity done to any charitable organization. It could be anything, right? Red Cross हो गया, PETA हो गया, correct? All those kinds of organizations that are there, right? So have a look. Is the, or does this make sense, or does this not make sense at all? Tell me. GPPC, GPPC, OPC, PPC. These are very what? Primitive topics, correct? GGAD, GPPC, ANI, right? Can I give you one homework? Tell me. Chalo, quickly I'll give you one homework for today. आ जाओ. Write down the homework. You could say GGAD, GPPC, all those topics. OPC, right? Refer notes, correct? NSI 2000, 100 2000, 57,000 DI. Total कितना हुआ? Tell me. How much is total? 20,000 here, 2,000 or 2,100 2,000, 57,000 total. How much is total, Baba? 2, 104 and 57 कितना होगा?
161.
161,000, right? Then you have 25,000 here. 25,000 GGAD. Now remember, here all implications will come up. Savings income, starting rate band. Savings income, nil rate band may also come. Dividend income may also come. Now tell me, when using 12,570, right? Where will we use it first? First in NSI, then in SI, and then in DI, or first in NSI, then in DI, then in SI? Tell me.
NSI.
Correct. That is the preferred what? Tell me. But have a look, note for PA. एक मिनट before I go ahead. First NSI is fixed, ठीक है, उसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है. But when it comes to SI and DI, correct, the law says that it is open for interpretation. Why? Because you have to calculate tax liability. Tax liability may, if you use it in savings income, because you have what, some or the other thing that is there, 1,500 something is there, right? But logically, right, at a very basic level, first NSI, then SI, and then DI. But hear me out. If there is a PA that is unutilized in a year, what you will do? Tell me. Can you carry forward PA to next year? No. Carry forward every year only 12,570. Carry forward as in every year 12,570. If you use it, use it. नहीं तो waste it. Correct? That is how it is, right? Have a look. Can PA, now see, if my NSI is only 5,000, I have no other income, okay, then I have full 5,000 PA available, right? Should I deduct full 12,570 or deduct only 5,000? Tell me. Can PA bring your taxable income to negative? Tell me. Never. Correct. So these are the notes that I was saying about all these things that I talked about. Have a look. Have a look, read them. Are you okay with these notes? If net income is less than PA available, right now we talked about it, then restrict PA to the net income amount. Correct. If there is any unutilized PA, no carry forward allowed, right? PA of 12,570 if reduced, whatever is available every year. Preference of utilization of PA, first NSI, then SI, and then DI, but or depending on tax calculation. Correct. That is there is no shortcut for this. Okay. You have to do tax calculation. First use it against SI, then use it against DI. Right. So this homework will test everything: savings income nil red band, dividend income nil red band, saving income starting red band, PA, reduction of PA, GPPC, GGAD, extension of bands. A lot of implications here. Correct. So this is the what question that will help you revise all the concepts you did today. Correct. One more thing, probably a very important note. Correct. Fifth note here on your screens. Fifth note, PA will be deducted from what? Net income and not ANI. ANI will never form part of any communication in any computation. Have you seen in the whole computation ANI being there anywhere? Checkpoint 1 total income, checkpoint 2 net income, checkpoint 3 taxable income, then tax liability. Kaam khatam. Correct. If GPPC or GGAD is not there, then ANI is equal to NI. Simple and sweet. Make sense? Tell me. Okay with it? Any problem? This question that I have given you will solve or will test everything that we have done today. Okay. So I think I can leave you 5-10 minutes early, right? Because I don't want to go in marriage allowance now. I can see faces turning dangerously what? Serious. So I don't want to continue. So whatever it is, the homework, I think you can solve, right? Anything else that you have doubt about or anything else that you need help with, correct? Let me know. With this, I think you can stop for today. Tomorrow we'll continue, right? I've already told you next week what time I'll be available, not be available, right? 2 days to for sure, 26, 27. 25th I'll let you know on 24th. Okay. Anything else from my side? Tell me. Can we sign off for today?
The notes, will you be sharing
Notes
them?
I'll upload on the WhatsApp group only.
Okay.
ठीक है. Anything else? चलो हर्षवी, bye bye. Lavia, bye. Himang, Kalbaina, bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, sir.